Hello, so in today's video we're going to look at and talk about how to manage competition jitters. Butterflies in your stomach, racing thoughts, shaking hands, every athlete has experienced it. Competition jitters are a natural part of being an athlete, but what we don't want is when it hijacks your performance. And in this video we're going to look at ways that you can work with the nerves and make sure that the nerves are channeled in the appropriate way. Number one is to befriend the butterflies. A lot of the time we want to fight that nervous energy, and instead of fighting it, you want to embrace it. You want to acknowledge it and acknowledge the fact that it is a normal physiological response to pressure or to stress or to wanting to do well. Every athlete has dealt with them. No matter how young or how old, nerves are part of the equation. And so it's very, very important to just acknowledge it, to embrace it. And I talked to one of my UFC fighters a couple months ago about this before they were getting ready for a fight, because they'd always been fighting those nerves, not liking the nerves, instead of really embracing them and really just understanding that this is part of the equation, and to really understand that by embracing them, acknowledging them, it's going to help to manage them. And then some of these other techniques are also going to do the same. As soon as you fight it, you're going to give a little bit more power to it, and it's going to help that nervous energy to grow and to build and become bigger, maybe to that point where now it is going to negatively impact your performance. Number two is to use breathing techniques. When you start to get nervous, your breathing is going to shallow. You're going to get a little bit more tighter physiologically. Your heart rate is going to increase. As I said, your breathing is also going to shift. And so using breathing to really focus on some nice deep diaphragmatic breaths, and diaphragmatic breaths is really pulling that air into your abdomen versus your chest. As I said, a natural part is when we start to get nervous is we're going to get a little bit more shallow with our breathing. So very important to focus in on some nice deep breathing. There's a couple techniques out there that are definitely more popular in terms of different breathing that you can do. There's what's known as the box breathing, which is breathing in for 4 seconds, holding that inhale for 4 seconds, exhaling for 4 seconds, and holding that exhale for 4 seconds. And then there's just straight on diaphragmatic breathing, which is generally to breathe in to your abdomen and then to exhale for twice as long as whatever the inhale was. So if you breathe in for 3 seconds, you want your exhale to last at least 6 seconds. So that's number two, is really use your breathing to help settle you down and to help give you something to focus on, but also to physiologically help reset yourself. And then number three is embrace the now. When we start to get nervous, it's very easy for us to start to go forward or backwards in times with our focus. And great athletes understand that they have to bring their focus into the now. So how do you bring your focus into the now? There's definitely different techniques out there, but using your senses is a really powerful way to help bring you into the now. And then with using your senses and bringing yourself into the now, then you can direct your focus to the task at hand. And that's also very, very important. Your focus is going to be one of your greatest tools to help you kind of deal with those pre-game jitters and to really help you to end up being able to perform in the way that you can, really channel that energy in the best way and manage it appropriately. So here's some ways you can use your senses. Any sense really can do, and probably depending on your sport, the environment that you find yourself in, the different senses are going to be maybe more appropriate for you. Number one, what do you see? The crisp lines of the track or the vivid colors of the arena. Focus on maybe what you hear, the sound of the wind or the sound of the crowd. Use your sensory of feel. If you have dirt around you, picking up some dirt and just really feeling the dirt as you move it between your hands and kind of let it kind of fall to the ground, or maybe pick up some grass. That's another way that you can really use your senses as well, and definitely one that I highly recommend, is to really ground yourself in that present moment through your feeling, through your touch. The ability to be able to channel your energy into focusing in on just executing that next step is, again, going to be an imperative part. And so use the sensory to help bring you into the now, into being fully present, and then shift that focus into what is the task at hand, what is the next step I need to focus on, and that's really going to help you now, again, be focused and be able to manage those pre-game nerves. Final thought is, remember, being able to learn and to manage your pre-game jitters and nerves. It is a journey, not a destination. So one of the things is these are different tools, and every tool has its place in time. Every tool is maybe better for some athletes than others. So part of it is taking a tool or tools that you feel maybe are going to be helpful, and to practice it and to start to implement it and to start to figure out which tools maybe help you the best. But again, all tools do need practice. So practice these practices, as well as making sure that, if you use something once and you're like, oh, that didn't work, well, you maybe didn't practice the tool or the skill long enough. And so just making sure that you give it the time that it needs to really practice these things, to practice your diaphragmatic breathing, to practice really being present and bringing your focus to the present moment, to the task at hand. These are all going to be really important to help you. They are very powerful tools. They are effective tools, but they need that practice. And so making sure that you spend that time to give yourself to practice is going to be very, very important.